Pentax Ist D, a digital camera from the early 2000s, the very first digital SLR from Pentax, and the flagship of its time, designed for professionals and built with intent. Today, it looks vintage, feels nostalgic, but underneath that retro shell, there's something more. Released in 2003, compact, durable, magnesium alloy body. It came out when digital photography was still new, but color already mattered. This was Pentax's answer to the Canon 10D and Nikon's D100. Now it is more appropriate to compare the Pentax Ist D with the Nikon D70. You can find them on the secondary market for the same money. The Pentax D is significantly smaller than the similar Nikon D70, which came out a year later, and lighter. It's important to understand that the Pentax has a metal chassis. Now, all modern cameras have an electronic viewfinder, but earlier, in the mirror era, it was important to have a viewfinder with a high magnification factor. What was the main feature of the Pentax Ist D compared to its competitors, the Canon 10D and the Nikon D100? The Ist D is tiny, one of the smallest DSLRs of its day. But with small size came trade-offs. The rear control dial, under your thumb, too close to the edge. On the Ist DS, Pentax moved it in, and it made a big difference. Buttons to the left of the screen, too recessed, hard to use without looking. And the selector dial on the right, set too low, not ideal for quick changes. The Ist DS fixed all that. Better grip, better placement. Even the font on the screen was improved. Bigger, clearer. The camera is powered by 4 AA batteries, or 2 CRV3. Pentax did not develop its own new unique battery. This is due to the fact that AA batteries were easier to find. Moreover, if your batteries are dead, you can always buy regular AA alkaline batteries anywhere. It should be noted that batteries lose their capacity over time, and finding a unique battery since 2003 would now be a difficult story, at a time when AA batteries can still be purchased in any country for reasonable money. It is more expedient to purchase AA lithium-ion batteries. Nickel-magnesium cells have a lower voltage than Li-ion, 1.2 volts versus 1.5, respectively. With nickel-magnesium batteries, the camera loses charge very quickly, since for normal operation it needs 6 volts, 4 cells of 1.5 volts each. Another cool feature of the camera is easy access to replace the CR 2016 system battery. This battery stores the date, time, and settings. In cameras over 10 years old, this battery runs out and starts to reset the time to the starting one. Replacing the battery on most cameras is possible only in a service center. While on Pentax Ist D, this procedure will take you 1 minute, and the battery is very easy to order. The camera uses compact flash memory cards up to 2 gigabytes guaranteed. This format is due to the limits of technology in the early 2000s, recording speed and data volume. Professional cameras used only compact flash. These cards allowed for relatively fast recording of raw photos, as well as the heavier and uncompressed TIFF format. SD cards were too slow and did not satisfy the needs of a demanding customer. Although today the ISTD camera really stores photos for a long time, you can use the uncompressed TIFF format for leisurely shooting. The K bayonet mount allows you to install a fairly wide range of manual focus optics of the K-M-A series. Also, through an adapter, you can use the endless world of optics with the M42 mount. Of course, autofocus lenses of the F, FA, DFA, DA series will also work properly. Unfortunately, optics with a built-in SDM motor will not focus, only in manual mode. In other words, autofocus is possible with lenses that have a focus drive from the camera, the so-called screwdriver. For starters, I can recommend 3 lenses: SMC, Pentax, DA 16-45 f4, DA 35 f2.4, and Macro 50 f2.8. These are fairly respectable optics with good sharpness, contrast, And what is important, their price at auctions rarely exceeds $50. The Sony ICX413 CCD APS-C sensor was installed on a very large number of cameras. Different brands including Pentax, Nikon, Konica Minolta, Epson. For example, the Nikon D70 or Konica Minolta Dynex 7D have the same sensor. And the resolution of 6 megapixels was the standard for most digital SLR cameras of those times. The Pentax 8 autofocus module was quite advanced for 2003, with 11 focus points, 9 of which were cross-type. Of course, it doesn't set the world on fire, but even now it's quite lively with the central point. The Pentax Ist D is more than old gear. It's a digital camera. With a film-era soul, its flaws give it character, and using one reminds you that photography isn't about megapixels. It was once a flagship, but not necessarily better than the Ist DS that followed. The DS improved many things: grip, usability, screen. And Pentax made those changes by listening. Today, the Ist D is forgotten by many, but for the price of a burger, you can bring one back to life.